But when your friend has a disapproval rating of 62%, right, record high, people say they don't like his handling of the Iran war, the economy's shitty, cost of living for people is fucked up. Why can't you tell your friend he's failing the people? As a friend.
Well, he's the president of the United States.
Still your friend, though.
And, yeah, I know. But, for me to get involved in, it's like if your friend had I'm sure people disagree with you that are friends with you, and everybody has friends that you just doesn't mean you're not friends with them anymore. It doesn't mean that you're.
Oh, no, I didn't say you shouldn't be friends with him. I just said, why can't you tell your friend he's failing the people?
Can you tell your friend, the most powerful person on earth, when his decisions are hurting the working class people who built everything you have? Just tell him, as a friend. Dana White could not answer that question. And the way he could not answer it was more revealing than anything he said. Today, we are breaking down Charlamagne's conversation with Dana White, a rare moment where one of Trump's most visible supporters had to explain, out loud, why friendship apparently comes before honesty. Let's get into it.
Katie Miller podcast, and you said, in regards to your relationship with Trump and has it cost the UFC business, you said, I don't give a shit. I don't know the answer to that question. I've gotten to a point in my life, especially after COVID and all that nutty shit that went on during that time, that I only want to be in business with and talk to people that I'm aligned with.
Well, I don't know about talk to people that I'm aligned, but I want to do business with people that I'm aligned with for sure.
So you're aligned with Trump on what exactly?
Well, Trump is a good friend of mine. I mean, I've been friends with him for 25 years. Mm-hmm. Friends. I mean, he just happened to become the president of the United States. Mm-hmm. And he and I have never had he had us at the Trump Taj Mahal. When we first bought this company, the stigma that was attached to this thing, you can imagine, think about this. It wasn't allowed on pay-per-view. You as a grown adult didn't have the option to buy it on pay-per-view. Porn was on pay-per-view. The UFC was not allowed on pay-per-view. That was the uphill battle we had. So you can imagine venues didn't want us because these guys were like, what kind of people will show up to watch this kind of an event? And he had us at the Trump Taj Mahal for the first two fights, 30 and 31, UFC 30 and 31. And then after we did those two fights, first he showed up for the first fight of the night and stayed till the end for both events. And you think the Trump brand then and the UFC brand, and every good thing that ever happened to me in my career after that, he was always the first guy to reach out. So then when he was running in 16, he called me and asked me, would you speak for me at the Republican convention? And everybody told me not to do it. Don't do it. This is going to be bad. And he's never going to win and all that kind of stuff. But this was a guy that was always good to me and, always treated me well, and I did it.
I can understand that. That's your friend. But when your friend has a disapproval rating of 62%, right, record high, people say they don't like his handling of the Iran war, the economy's shitty, cost of living for people is fucked up. Why can't you tell your friend he's failing the people? As a friend.
Well, he's the president of the United States.
Still your friend, though.
And, yeah, I know. But, for me to get involved in, it's like if your friend had I'm sure people disagree with you that are friends with you, and everybody has friends that you just doesn't mean you're not friends with them anymore. It doesn't mean that you're.
Oh, no, I didn't say you shouldn't be friends with him. I just said, why can't you tell your friend he's failing the people? Because these are the same people who make UFC a success.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree that he's failing the people. I think that when the president is done in 3 years, people will look back on and realize a lot of the good things. See, I'm closer to him too, and I see all the good things that he does that a lot of people, either don't see or don't want to see.
But tariff inflation has increased the price of household goods, increased utility bills because household electricity costs have gone up 9%. The failure to extend the Affordable Care Act has fucked up people's health care. Everyday working class people who support your sport are hurting.
You're never going to have a president that sits in the White House that everybody approves 100% of everything they do, and not everything is always going to be perfect. You're going to have some things that work out great and a lot of things that don't. It's no different than
Dana actually said. He and Trump have a genuine 25-year friendship, not transactional, not political. It began when Trump allowed the UFC to hold events at the Taj Mahal when the sport was banned from pay-per-view, and most venues would not touch it. Trump showed up and stayed both times. After that, every good thing in Dana's career, Trump was the first to call. When Trump asked him to speak at the 2016 Republican convention and everyone said, don't do it, he did it anyway. As loyalty stories go, it is real and understandable. But Charlamagne's question was never about the friendship. It was about what the friendship cost the people watching. Trump's disapproval rating is at record highs. Tariff-driven inflation has raised household goods prices. Electricity costs are up 9%. The failure to extend the Affordable Care Act has raised healthcare costs for people barely affording it before. These are the working class fans who made the UFC what it is. The people in the seats, buying the pay-per-views, making Dana White wealthy and powerful. The question was simple. Can you not tell your friend, privately, as a friend, that he is failing those people? Dana's responses cycled through several layers without landing on a direct answer. No president is perfect, true but irrelevant. He sees good things others do not see. That is access justifying loyalty, not scrutinizing it. Their relationship is personal, not political. True, but the impact of the policies is not personal to the people experiencing them. It is material and immediate. The most revealing moment came when Charlamagne noted that Dana had influenced young male voters toward Trump, and Dana said he was okay with that. Charlamagne followed the logic. So you are responsible for the tariffs, the inflation, the healthcare costs? Dana laughed and said, I guess so. That was not a joke. It was an admission dressed as deflection. If you acknowledge your influence contributed to an electoral outcome, you own a portion of the consequences that followed. Dana also described himself as common sense, leaning a little liberal, and praised Rogan, Theo Vaughn, and Andrew Schultz for publicly calling out Trump when they disagree. He said everyone is entitled to call out what they do not like, but he does not do it himself. He considers other people's criticism of Trump legitimate and admirable, while maintaining that his personal friendship exempts him from the same standard. That is a position he can hold. It is just worth being honest about what it actually is.
Than running a business or any other thing. Nobody's ever going to be absolutely perfect.
Oh, I agree.
When they're the president of the United States.
But can you tell your friend when he's...
Yeah, we talk about a lot of things, but I don't try to get into...
You like everything he's doing?
Like I just said, you're never going to agree with everything. But, as a friend, I'm not going out there and he and I have never, other than the first 2 UFC events, nothing with us is transactional.
So your relationship with Trump is bigger than business. It's actually personal.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a real friendship, not some type of, he has lots of friends, especially now that he's the president. We don't have that. We've had a 25-year real friendship and real relationship.
But don't be a glazer, though, Dana.
Don't be what?
A glazer. Like just somebody that just tells him he's great. A yes man, basically.
Yeah.
You got to tell him when he's...
I don't think anybody's ever accused me of being a yes man. Okay. And I think that's that's part of it. But listen, I'm not an overly political person either.
Are you part of the MAGA movement culturally? Do you align with their ideologies and their values?
I consider myself right down the middle or leaning a little liberal, to be honest with you. Everybody thinks I'm some far right guy because of our relationship. I'm more about common sense. I'm a common sense guy. And if it makes sense to me, then I'm probably in.
So when you see the Joe Rogans, the Theo Vaughns, the Andrew Schultzes actually, calling out Trump and what they don't like, what do you think of that?
I think that everybody's entitled to their own opinions, and if there's things that you see that you don't like, and you want to be political, call them out.
Yeah, because it's interesting. Most CEOs try to stay politically neutral to protect the brand. You almost seem kind of like proud to be political, I guess.
Not proud to be political. I mean, I'm just saying that this guy is my friend, and nothing is perfect. And whoever is the next president, right or left, isn't going to be perfect either. I just think that. I don't base my relationship with him on politics.
Well, what about when people say that you're the reason why a lot of young male voters, because of, you have seen everything that you have, voted for Trump? And that was something that, like, even if you didn't mean to do, it was widely talked about, and you still leaned into helping his popularity in the space.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
But that gets political then.
Yeah.
So you're responsible for the high tariffs and the high inflation costs, and
I guess so. I guess if that's the way you want to look at it, it's all my fault.
No, I'm just saying you're responsible for people's health care getting cut. I'm just saying, like, that's what you're essentially saying.
Okay.
Jesus.
I mean, I that's not the way I look at it, but I guess I could see why you would look at it that way, and you could, frame it like that.
What's the craziest thing a fighter has asked you for besides money? Is there anything on the side that a fighter said, this is weird or this is strange?
Cocaine?
No, nobody.
Charlamagne was not asking Dana White to betray a friend. He was asking whether friendship, real friendship, the kind Dana described, includes the willingness to say something hard when the stakes are high. The people most affected by Trump's economic decisions are not the people in Dana White's life. They are the people in the seats at UFC events. The people who scraped together the money for the pay-per-view. The people whose electricity bill went up and whose healthcare plan got more expensive. Those people do not have 25 years of personal relationship with the president to fall back on. They just have the policies. Dana White is not required to be a political critic. He is not required to publicly challenge his friend. But he is also not required to describe himself as a common-sense moderate who leans liberal while actively declining to exercise the judgment that description implies. You cannot claim the identity of a reasonable, accountable person and simultaneously refuse every opportunity to demonstrate it when it actually costs something. Charlamagne asked a fair question. Dana gave an honest non-answer. And sometimes the non-answer tells you everything. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Dana White should use his friendship with Trump to push back on policies that hurt working Americans? Or do you think that line between personal loyalty and public accountability is impossible to walk? I want to hear where you stand. Subscribe. We will keep asking the questions that get answered with laughs and subject changes.